All right, yeah. So we did a thing, right? Fine Acts, an amazing organization coming out of New York. Their stated mission is to change the world through the power of art. And the TEDx organization, also in New York, their stated mission is to spread good ideas around the world. And they came to us and said, guys, we have organized 10 TEDx events around the world, and you are one of them, to find 7 speakers each, or sorry, 7 artists each, to give us a picture of what they see as hopeful solutions for the future in the face of climate change. So, with that privilege and that honor, we did just that. South Africa is not short of creative talent by any means. The idea was we will do this, in a very short space of time so that everybody has challenges, or we define the challenge in a way that is the same for everyone around the world. We know that these are busy people, these are working people. So let's create a framework that adds a little vuma to the challenge, but also standardizes the process. So the 48-hour sprints was born. So it's 48 hours, creative challenge, design a poster around the issue of climate change, but the poster must be one that offers hope, one that offers solutions. And the big idea there is that you will get a lot more out of people if you look for the solutions, if you appeal to their better senses, if you find those solutions, or you help them, inspire them to find solutions. Climate change is overwhelming, as we've heard throughout the day today. It's huge, it's challenging, it's catastrophe left, right, and center, sometimes dystopian. And maybe we haven't done enough to create pictures that show us what the possibilities are, that helps us imagine a hopeful future. And it's an old subject, climate change, but it's actually relatively new in cultural terms. We don't normally talk about climate change at parties. These are things that are reserved for labs and research papers by professors and doctorate students. And it's only now, recently, this year, last year, maybe in the few years before that humanity has begun to take this discussion into everyday lives. And these are the very first steps, from our side anyway, of beginning to visualize and put pictures and take this topic into everyday culture. The big idea for us, as we redefined the brief to our group, was make the complex information easy to understand, take net zero, bring it down, take all these difficult ideas. And these are hard ideas. I mean, I imagine many people in this audience are familiar with the terms, or if they weren't familiar with the terms at the beginning of this process, you would certainly probably have a doctorate by now. But most people have no idea what's being talked about. They just know that they love nature and somebody's destroying it and they don't like that, okay? But make the complex information easy to understand. The second point was fill people's imaginations with visions of possible futures to inspire them to act today. What I enjoyed about the first talk at the beginning of this session was this sense of, let's look at the world in 2070, looking backward, let's begin to imagine what that future is. Let's put actual human beings in places. Let's create pictures. Let's put words to it. Let's put emotions to it, and this was part of what we were trying to achieve. In a way, an aspect of it is a little bit of science fiction, right? Or science artistic fiction of some sort. And I've already spoken about the focus on hope and solutions. We found it wasn't hard to, there's amazing talent in the Johannesburg area, but we were specifically looking for a range, of course, focused mostly on young people, but we wanted to have some experience in the team as well and some middleweights, you know. And the gentleman that you see at the bottom right, for example, is one of the most celebrated writers in the South African advertising field. He's from the X industries, so to speak. And the lady that you see on the bottom left is the youngest in the group. It's Mokgoro. She's all of 22 years old. And there are others, that I think Hast Wilson on the top right-hand corner is also around the same age. The energy here is a youthful one. These are the people who own the future. And we wanted this process to mostly, you know, be carried out by them. Hast Wilson, that was his, you know, he gave us actually more than one piece. You are the future. And we emphasize the power of words, because words are amazing. You take words and make them beautiful, and then you get, you know, two things out of them. It's a double whammy. You are the future. Beautiful poster, powerful words. And I thought, hey, maybe one is not enough. Let me add another one. Tomorrow is too late. I particularly love this one. I love the urgency in it, that sense of we've got to do something right now, but also the bright sunlight that's clearly reflecting of the words and the unavoidable heat of the sun that's palpably tangible in the whole poster. And his own favorite is Earth is Everything. And I think, you know, he's particularly moved by the sense of love that the text seems to be showing to the planet. Earth is everything. So this is Hast Wilson's work. This was his take on the question. It's inspirational, it is powerful, it is a poster. You know, a poster wants to be read immediately, quickly, and it wants to be iconic. And I think, you know, for Hast especially, this one is his iconic one. My favorite is the last one. I love this one. I love them all, but I really like the message in the idea of tomorrow being too late. And then there was a totally different direction, still driven by copy, Battle of the Traveling Bands. You know, you look at that at first and you're thinking, what battle? You know, what's going on here? And then it turns out that Mokgoro has taken the idea of transportation and the need to transition transportation from fossil fuels to renewables, and but also all the decisions that we need to make throughout the process in mitigating climate change. And she's turned it into a poster for a battle of bands, you know, which for me was, you know, quite nifty. So to read it for you, Battle of the Traveling Bands, location Earth now, time now, and she's got a bicycle and a bus in the city. And it reads as thus: line up, the bicycle boys, don't drive, ride a bicycle. For flight fighters, reduce your carbon footprint, fly less. And then walkable cities, and then in brackets, it's take more walks. And then road and the trips, as in, you know, the famous trope of bands, Desmond and the Tutus. Take the bus instead. And she did it in this lo-fi, you know, you almost could find this on a wall somewhere where you have to tear off your own piece to do your own thing with it. That was Moon's work. And then we've got Rendani Nemakavan. It's a beautiful surname, I think, but a beautiful poster. Earth powered by the people, and people powered by Earth, or by the Earth. And she's got a very specific style that she didn't leave behind when she created this poster. Again, the iconic Earth in the center, and a powerful, simple line around it that you take and you flip over. But you really get to appreciate the fact that the planet drives us, and it is also true that we drive the planet. And when we take a wrong turn, a lot can happen that goes wrong. And a lot goes with responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. And then you've got Patu Nembiri. And she's a super illustrator. She's got this naive yet profound style, and she's taken a scene, you know, despair and dystopia with coal on the left-hand side. It's told the story of, if you take this and break it apart, we could create a better world on the right-hand side with renewables, solar and wind and so on. It's never too late to recreate. Then, of course, there's Carolyn Taylor, who sees the hand as the primary tool in creating change, you know, and she's saying our climate is changing and so should we, you know. And I think that's a really powerful line. You know, I really like the simplicity of the tool itself, the most primary, the most basic tool we have, and a really powerful line to go with it. Then, of course, there's what Thabo Huma did. She sees her work as a visual diary of sorts. You know, what does the world look like from the perspective of a young Black African woman? And this is what the world looks like in her view. You know, Mother Earth is sitting there and we are throwing litter all over her. We asked her to add a line, and this is what she said: nature's love starts with you. I think it could work either way. And then there was this little beauty by Mbulelo Nhlapo and Thabang Lehobe. Thabang is the artist, Mbulelo is the copywriter. He also, by the way, did Patu's line, Mbulelo, that is. But this was their starting point. I mean, they ended up here. It's not the end point, but this is basically what the concept was. The idea here being, you know, Mokgoro. I mean, that's what it is. Waste pickers, I think, in English. In township lexicon, it's Mokgoro. These guys who come early in the morning and they go into our bins and they sort the litter and they do all the recycling for us free of charge, you know, and they earn a little bit from that, but we get so much more from it. Mostly, you know, they take the ugly out of the world to leave it more beautiful. And these two guys, you know, just found the perfect line with a perfect picture to give us this: make ugly beautiful. Mbulelo Nhlapo and Thabang Lehobe. We'll share the 7 works on an open license. The idea is that activists, non-profits all around the world can use them in campaigns. They will be online, particularly on the Fine Acts website, but we intend also to showcase them on our own platform at TEDxJohannesburg, but also, you know, possibly at TED. And in the new week and beyond, we are planning a pop-up exhibition. There will be one online, and certainly we're looking at doing something digital, physical as well. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed the work.